I moved back to the States for a few months with my wife, and then we moved back here this past January. And they mentioned just like you can't put a finger on it until you go back there and come back, and then you come back and you just feel this like peace settle in. Like you're there and everything is moving so fast, everything is constantly happening. The political things that are going on there, no matter what side you're on, it's very tumultuous in that way. And then moving back here, I got back and with no job, we had just gotten this apartment. My wife was still looking for work. Like everything is still very stressful, but just being here and being in this environment is so much more peaceful. And just people laugh at the whole Finland is the happiest country thing, which, it's fun to make jokes about because it's going to be sad wherever you're going to be if you're going to be a sad person. But it's not so much about the happiness, it's about the contentment. And you can be content here. I can be content here going from making almost $100,000 a year in the States to here making no money, and we're surviving on one income, and I'm still like, it's stressful, but it's still very like, I'm okay. Like I'm going to live the next day. I'm going to eat. I'm going to survive. Without that, yeah.
Yeah, I completely get you. And I was actually in Copenhagen. I went to go visit.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my word. What an amazing city. But I went around asking people, if Copenhagen or if Denmark is a happy country and whatnot, because it came second on the list or something. And then there's one guy who I spoke to, he said exactly what you said. He was just like, it's not about the being happy. It's about the security you feel.
Yep.
The fact that, I don't know, I got really shook coming to Finland and realizing that at least the government seems to care about its people.
Yeah. What a mind-blowing concept. Yeah. For the government to care about the people and not their own interests. That's insane to me.
At the risk of, I guess, making some people angry watching this, I think a lot of the time you hear from Finns who have never lived outside of Finland or never really lived outside of Finland. Travel is different, obviously. I'm talking about living outside of Finland. Of course, it's easy to point out the things and say, oh, the Finnish government doesn't care about the people, or the Finnish government in this way or that way, or whatever. But and it's not to reduce anyone's own lived experience or to say that they're not valid and feeling the way that they feel, but it is, one of those things that I think a lot of foreigners who come to Finland have a completely different lived experience in the sense where, you go from feeling like a constant piece in a machine to feeling like you have at least some semblance of individuality.
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to leave it.
Yeah, it is very much more I don't know, more communal, I guess. I mean, being a dirty socialist country, as some people would say in the States, coming from such a capitalist place, and not to say Finland isn't a capitalist, because it very much is, but it is just more comfortable to be here and live, to live your life. You're not living the whole thing of working to live versus live to work and all of that kind of stuff. You can just be comfortable living here as opposed to, like you said, the grind culture and everything.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you're kinder than I am. I get really frustrated with people who talk down on Finland when they've never lived anywhere else.
He does as well. Yeah.
I genuinely, it frustrates me because I'm like, bro, you're living in a bloody bubble.
Yeah.
And you don't know it. Like, you're like, oh, the government's only giving me 1,000 euros a month. I'm like, bro, like what?
Yeah. How does that like that sense of social security here? How does that translate? I don't know if we're throwing questions back to you, but like living in Joburg or living in South Africa, like what does that look like there as far as social security versus here? Can you give somebody a context?
Yeah, for sure. Basically, there are no guardrails in South African society in general. Perhaps they have not changed now.
You thought for a second, maybe.
No, they are generally no guardrails created by the government, like proper guardrails. Like even pension is terribly low. The government, at least in certain, even in the States, I think there's obviously a lot of underhanded things being done by the government and whatever, but they at least have the foresight to try and hide it.
Mm. Yeah.
In South Africa, they steal from you while looking at you, like, oh, that's I'll take that, right?
Okay.
So, and also, I think another really important thing is how safe it is in comparison to South Africa. So some of these things you don't know that they're a weight on your mind until they're not there anymore. Just like how you're saying that whole hustle culture until you arrive here and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Safety is a whole nother thing. Like when I did move back last year after spending a full year here, the things you don't realize are so nice here compared to living back in the States. I flew into Chicago, and I love Chicago. I've been there many times. I stayed there overnight before I went back home to Indiana, and just getting off the train to go to my hotel, I'm carrying my bags, and it's just homeless person, homeless person, homeless person. And it's Chicago, too, so there's that impending sense of, even though I'm in, like, the north side, it's still, like, that Chicago is very dangerous, and then it puts me back in that mindset of like, why I used to own a handgun and have it at the house all the time, because people talk about like there'll be a big violent event that happens somewhere in Tampere, and people will talk about it for 2 weeks. Whereas if that happened in the States, we wouldn't talk about it for 5 seconds. Be like, not there was one stabbing in Leilahti, there were 5 stabbings on the south side this afternoon. Like, it's just the safety aspect, the mental safety. Like, I can walk here on the street at 4 a.m., very drunk or with a bunch of friends or by myself, and I don't even worry about the people that are walking next to me. I don't even think about it.
Yeah, being here has made me soft. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.